I grew up in a house where dreams were treated like jokes. Everyone had an opinion about me, and none of them were kind. My father called me the slow one. My mother said, "She's too soft. She'll never survive in the real world." My siblings? They didn't even bother pretending to believe in me. I remember the day it hit me the hardest. It was a quiet Sunday afternoon. Sunlight leaked through the curtains as I walked into the dining room, holding my sketchbook, the one place where I felt alive. I showed them a design I had spent 2 weeks perfecting. My older brother barely looked up. "Another useless drawing?" My mother didn't even glance at it. "You need to stop wasting time. No one makes money from these silly ideas." My father folded his newspaper and stared at me like I was a burden he never asked for. "Listen," he said, "you need to accept reality. You'll never be anything big. Get a simple job. Something small. Something safe." My cheeks burned, but not from shame, from the pain of not being seen. I sat there, holding that sketchbook, feeling the weight of every insult they had ever thrown at me. I wanted to scream, "Why can't you just believe in me?" But I didn't. I swallowed their words like poison. And poison doesn't kill you instantly. It kills you slowly, until one day you decide to spit it back out. That night, I cried on my bedroom floor. But something inside me shifted. Something small. Something stubborn. A fire. A voice whispered inside me. "If they don't believe in you, then believe in yourself twice as hard." I wiped my tears. I opened my old laptop, cracked screen, slow as hell, and I started searching. How to start a business from home. How to sell digital designs. How to make money using creativity. I didn't know anything. I just knew I was tired of being nothing. Every night, while my family slept, I learned. Branding. Marketing. Designing mock-ups. YouTube tutorials became my best friends. Free software became my workplace. During the day, I pretended to be the quiet, useless daughter they believed I was. At night, I was building something no one could see. They mocked me. They rolled their eyes. They said I was chasing fantasies. But I kept going. You see, when your whole life you've been told you'll never be anything, becoming something becomes your only mission. My first sale came at 2:17 a.m. A tiny notification on my cracked laptop screen. You earned $9.99. $9. 9 little dollars. But to me, it felt like a million. I stared at the screen, smiling through tears. For the first time in my life, someone, a stranger, believed in my work. That night, I realized something huge. Validation doesn't need to come from the people who hurt you. It can come from people who see your value before your family ever will. I worked harder. Days blurred into nights. Coffee became my fuel. Failure became a part of the process. Some days I sold nothing. Some days I wanted to quit. But the fire inside me refused to die. Slowly. Very slowly, things changed. $10. $50. $120. $300. $500. Then one day, I woke up, checked my dashboard. And I froze. $1,742 in one night. My hands were shaking so badly I could barely refresh the page. But it was real. My designs, my skills, my ideas were paying my bills. Within months, I built a small online brand. People loved my style. Brands reached out. Orders increased. I bought myself a second-hand phone. Then a new laptop. Then I hired a virtual assistant. I didn't tell my family anything. Not yet. They still thought I was wasting time. They still joked about me being lazy while I made more in a week than they made in a month. I stayed silent. Focused. Hungry. My goal wasn't revenge. It was transformation. Life has a funny way of rewarding people who refuse to give up. And then, exactly 1 year after my first sale, it happened. I crossed my first 1 million in total revenue. I stared at the screen for a full minute, unable to breathe. I had actually done it. The girl who was nothing. The girl who was too soft. The girl they said would never be anything. She built 1 million from scratch. I cried. Not because of the money, but because of the journey. I didn't tell anyone for 3 days. I just sat with my victory quietly, holding it like a secret flame. Then came the moment I'll never forget. It was a typical evening. My family sat in the living room, complaining about bills and income and expenses, the same cycle of frustration I grew up listening to. My father sighed. This world is getting expensive. We need another earning hand. My mother added. Too bad none of our daughters can do anything big. I walked into the room holding a small envelope. My hands were steady. Dad, I said softly, I want to show you something. He looked annoyed, as usual. What now? I placed the envelope on the table. Inside was a copy of my first-year revenue statement. My mother opened it. Silence. My brother leaned forward, confused. My father's eyes widened. He blinked twice, as if his brain couldn't process the numbers. Is this real? He whispered. Yes, I said calmly. I made my first million this year. The room went silent. Not a single breath. Not a single sound. For the first time in my life. They didn't have words. My mother stuttered. How? When? You? My brother looked at me differently. Not with superiority. But shock. And just a little fear. I sat down, crossed my legs, and smiled. You said I'd never be anything, I said softly. So I became everything you said I couldn't. The power in that moment was indescribable. The girl they ignored. The girl they underestimated. The girl they broke. Was now sitting in front of him. As the most financially successful person in the entire family. My father finally spoke. We misjudged you. I nodded gently. You didn't just misjudge me, I said. You tried to limit me. But limits only work on people who believe in them. The room remained silent. They were seeing me for the first time. Not as their weak daughter. But as a woman who created her own empire. Since that day, everything changed. My parents speak to me with respect. My siblings ask for business advice. Relatives brag about me to others. Funny, isn't it? You are nothing. Until you become something they can't ignore. But here's the truth. I didn't succeed to prove them wrong. I succeeded to prove myself right. My million didn't change them. It changed me. I stood taller. I walked prouder. I spoke with confidence. Because for the first time in my life, I finally believed in my own worth. And that is worth more than any million.